Before we begin, I want to invite you to notice something without judging it. Many people are far kinder to others than they are to themselves. They excuse mistakes in others. They allow others to struggle. They understand that others are human. And yet, when it comes to themselves, the standard suddenly changes. In this first long video, we will explore why so many people live with a double standard. One that is gentle toward others, but harsh toward the self, and how learning to treat yourself more fairly can fundamentally change your inner life. This is not about positive thinking. It's about psychological honesty. Chapter 1. The Quiet Double Standard. We rarely question. There is a pattern that appears in countless inner dialogues. When someone else makes a mistake, we tend to say, they were overwhelmed. They didn't know better. They were doing their best. When we make the same mistake, the tone often shifts. I should have known. I'm weak. There's no excuse. This is not accidental. Psychologically, many people operate with two internal accounting systems. One compassionate, one punitive. The compassionate system is applied outward. The punitive system is applied inward. And most people never stop to ask, why do I measure myself by a different standard? Chapter 2. Where the harsh inner standard comes from. Harsh self-judgment is rarely chosen consciously. It usually develops early, shaped by conditional approval, high expectations, emotional unpredictability, environments where mistakes had consequences. In such systems, kindness toward the self can feel unsafe. The inner critic emerges as a protective mechanism. If I'm hard on myself, maybe I'll avoid future harm. Over time, self-criticism becomes familiar. Familiarity feels like truth, but familiarity is not accuracy. Many people confuse harshness with responsibility, self-punishment with growth, guilt with moral integrity. This confusion keeps the double standard alive. Chapter 3. Why being hard on yourself feels necessary. For many people, self-criticism feels productive. It creates the illusion of control. It feels like accountability. It promises improvement. But psychologically, chronic self-criticism has predictable effects: increased anxiety, reduced motivation, emotional shutdown, fear of failure. Being hard on yourself does not make you better. It makes you smaller. What actually supports growth is clarity, realism, self-respect. None of these require cruelty. Chapter 4. The first shift. Fairness instead of kindness. For many people, the idea of being kind to themselves feels artificial. So let's begin somewhere else. Not with kindness, with fairness. Ask yourself, would I speak this way to someone I respect? Fairness does not excuse everything. It contextualizes. Fairness acknowledges effort, limitation, circumstance. This is not self-indulgence, it's psychological accuracy. And accuracy is grounding. Chapter 5. How the double standard shapes identity and self-worth. When a person consistently treats themselves more harshly than others, something subtle happens over time. The issue is no longer just thoughts. It becomes identity. You don't just think, I made a mistake. You begin to feel, I am the mistake. This is one of the most damaging effects of the inner double standard. When criticism is occasional, it remains information. When criticism is constant, it becomes self-definition. Many people grow up learning that effort is invisible, only outcomes matter. Mistakes define character, so they internalize a belief that their value is always conditional. This belief doesn't disappear in adulthood. It simply turns inward. You may still be generous, patient, and understanding with others, but only as long as you believe you must earn the right to exist without criticism. This creates a quiet imbalance. Others are allowed to be human. You are expected to be exceptional. Over time, this erodes self-worth. Not because you are failing, but because the rules were never fair. Chapter 6. Why self-compassion feels uncomfortable at first. One of the most misunderstood aspects of self-compassion is how unnatural it can feel. Many people expect kindness toward themselves to feel warm, relieving, comforting, but for a long time it doesn't. Instead, it can feel fake, weak, undeserved, even threatening. This discomfort is important to understand. If you grew up in an environment where love was conditional, approval depended on performance, mistakes led to emotional distance, then kindness without conditions can feel unfamiliar, and unfamiliarity often triggers resistance. Your nervous system may interpret self-compassion as If I stop pushing myself, everything will fall apart. So it reacts with skepticism. This is not a failure of compassion. It is a sign of learning history. Just as muscles protest new movement patterns, the psyche resists new relational dynamics, even healthy ones. The goal is not to force kindness. The goal is to build tolerance for fairness. Chapter 7. Developing a stable, realistic inner voice. A fair inner voice is neither indulgent nor punitive. It sounds something like this. This was hard. You didn't handle it perfectly. Given the circumstances, this makes sense. What would help now? Notice what's missing. No shaming, no catastrophizing, no moral judgment. This voice is grounded in reality, not emotion. To cultivate it, many people find it helpful to practice a simple internal check. Am I responding to this moment or to an old pattern? Because often, the harshness belongs to the past. The current situation becomes a trigger, not the cause. With practice, the inner voice begins to shift from judge to witness, from prosecutor to companion. This doesn't eliminate accountability. It simply places it on stable ground. Chapter 8. What changes when you stop punishing yourself? When the inner double standard softens, several changes tend to emerge gradually. Not dramatically, quietly. People often notice reduced emotional exhaustion, more consistent motivation, clearer decision-making, less fear of failure. Why? Because energy is no longer wasted on self-surveillance. When you are not constantly monitoring yourself for flaws, you regain cognitive and emotional bandwidth. This allows learning instead of avoidance, curiosity instead of defense, growth instead of control. Perhaps the most important change is this. You no longer need to earn rest, understanding, or care. They become part of the baseline. And from that baseline, improvement becomes possible, not forced. If there is one idea to take from this video, it is this. You don't need a harsher standard to grow. You need a fair one. Treating yourself with the same understanding you offer others is not weakness. It is psychological maturity. And learning to replace inner punishment with honest reflection is one of the most stabilizing changes a person can make. Thank you for staying with this long exploration. Take your time. Nothing here needs to be rushed.